everybody, FernManiacs here. So I'm a therapist in Manchester, England, and I wanted to do a video today really just to focus on my experience of visual snow, visual snow syndrome as some people like to call it. I prefer to refer to it as like visual disturbances now as a symptom of anxiety. I consider myself to be recovered now. There was a time, when it was first onset, which was 3 years ago, when it horrified me, to be honest. I experienced all of the symptoms that you see. People talk a lot about in these forums, such as obviously, the visual snow, but also the nighttime blindness, the palinopsia, the trailing images, of course, depersonalization, derealization. You name it, I had that as a symptom. And it horrified me. When it first onset, I was wondering what on earth is wrong with me. Am I going to go blind? All of the common fears, that you hear for people who experience visual snow. Now, actually, what I came to realise was that not only was I suffering with these visual disturbances, but also I'd experienced a panic attack, an adrenal flood. And actually, that was also going on at the same time. A couple of months later, I really did some research and learned a bit more about panic, anxiety, OCD in particular. And what I came to realise was that I was actually experiencing sensorimotor OCD. And what that is when, because we're anxious, we hyperfixate on some sort of symptom in our body. For some people, that can be breathing. For me, it was, my eye floaters, my snow, my visual disturbances. And unfortunately, what happened is that my brain kind of misinterpreted those as a threat. And when we do that, unfortunately, we start checking, scanning, we start looking for those symptoms. We spend every waking moment almost, is it gone yet? Why can I still see this snow? Let me check a white wall and see if it's still here. Oh my God, it's worse, blah, 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 blah. And we just end up in this real cycle of panic. And that is exactly what sensorimotor OCD is all about. So my experience of recovery was about doing what at the time felt unimaginable. I decided to go out and live my life as I used to. I went with non-anxious me. I started seeing my friends again. I carried on driving again. I returned to work. I guess that all of the things that I'd kind of decided that I couldn't do because of my visual snow, I just went ahead and did it anyway. And actually what I noticed over time, and with letting go of my compulsions, the scanning, the checking for it, the Googling it, the spending hours on Reddit talking about it, the more and more that I left it alone, my symptoms started to decrease. I stopped noticing my visual snow. I stopped looking for, the zigzags in my vision, and I stopped giving it attention. And when that happened, it stopped giving me attention back. My brain stopped thinking that visual snow was a threat, and as a result, my anxiety settled down, and so did the snow. So if there's anybody here who's watching this video, looking for an answer, what is the cure? How can I get rid of my visual snow? The answer is, honestly, it's not something to be cured. There's nothing wrong with you. Unfortunately, what's happened is that your brain has, identified something that you probably had before. You probably have always had eye floaters. You probably always have had some sort of static vision. But your brain will have noticed it, seen it's a threat, and started to obsess about it. So what I encourage you to do, like I said, is to continue going back to what your life was like before this anxiety problem started. Going with non-anxious you. Again, living your life how you used to. And slowly, over time, you will start to settle down. I know that feels really difficult to imagine right now, but it isn't about the snow going away. It isn't about you almost, forcing the snow out of your awareness. It's about kind of taking it with you. So you might be, I don't know, you might be on a walk with your mum, for example, right? And, it's a bright day, you can see the snow, and it's about allowing it to be there, but redirecting your attention almost like past the snow. So it's like the snow is there, but we're not zooming in on it. We're not focusing on the snow. We're moving our attention onto the conversation. Or if it isn't the conversation, we're moving it onto, I don't know, the people in front of us. Oh, who has, I don't know, the nicest haircut here? How many people wearing red shorts can I see right now? And it's just about moving your attention past the snow. Eventually your brain will habituate, which means like we'll kind of get used to the snow being there. You'll stop looking for it, and eventually your brain will just kind of stop identifying with it, and your attention will be on living your life. I don't notice my snow nowadays, ever, unless, like right now, because I'm talking about it and my attention is on it, I can see floaters. I've just seen one go by me now. I see static vision, but it's only because I'm focusing on it right now. And the difference is I can see the snow and the static and all of the other symptoms, but it doesn't panic me anymore. Like, it's just here, and it doesn't set off my threat response. It doesn't scare me, and I can just allow it to be here. And I know that soon I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna start making tea. As soon as I do that, my attention will move on to something else. My brain will forget about it, and I won't think about it again or notice it until I see a client, maybe, who's talking about their visual snow. So I hope this has been helpful for you. It's just an approach. I know that there's a couple of people online sharing their stories, I guess, about recovery, but I know that when I was really suffering, there wasn't too much online. There wasn't too much available. So I'm hopeful that this is helpful for you and gives you some sort of hope, I guess. But yeah, thanks.